What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we have an absolutely massive Sioux Falls Regional Airport update for you guys. This will be the 47th airport update for the month of December 2023, and this is the final airport update for the 2023 calendar year. We got ourselves tons of charters, some fun visitors, and we also have another major parking garage update to report on, so lots to go over in this update. So, let's get right into it. Starting off at gate number 1, we've got this Delta Airbus A319 coming in from Minneapolis. This flight 2359 at 12:14 a.m. on Monday, delayed from an 11:31 p.m. scheduled arrival on Sunday. So our regularly scheduled passenger flights, these come from Sunday, December 17th, and then the charters are going to be spread out over the course of about a couple of weeks because I've been gathering information on them, and I'll be reporting on the outcomes of those charters and all that fun stuff. More details when we get to the end of the terminal segment of this update. Jumping ahead to gate number 5, we have this American Airbus A319. This aircraft coming in from Phoenix Sky Harbor today as flight 2219. This arrived in at 1:40 p.m. on Saturday, ahead of a scheduled 1:44 p.m. arrival on Saturday. So this particular flight was on December 16th, and for 2 weeks here in the middle of December, American Airlines was kind enough to send an A319 from Phoenix, replacing the Embraer 175 that they typically send on Wednesday and Saturday. And I was not able to catch one of these, unfortunately, but very nice that we did have this Phoenix mainline service, even if it was temporary, and I suspect the reason for that was because of the increased demand out of Phoenix to Sioux Falls and vice versa. So that's why we have the 319 here coming in from Phoenix. Hopefully this does return at some point. I'd love to have mainline on Phoenix as well, but I think Dallas mainline for us has been sufficient for the last year now. And speaking of that Dallas service, it is going to go back down to a 175 still in the winter, just for a couple of months during January and February, and then after that it will go back to A319 twice daily. So I suspect that this is because of the decreased demand on the FSD to DFW service during those two particular months, as February is when they did start the mainline service this past February. So hopefully, maybe in the future, it will become more of a year-round thing, and then January and February will also see the mainline service. Awesome setup here with United Mainline and also United Express, and a very special visitor up in the top right. We'll visit him in just a couple of minutes. But first up, we want to check out gate number 7 for this United Express Embraer 175. Coming in from Chicago O'Hare is flight 5544, operated by SkyWest, at 3:41 p.m., delayed from a 2:36 p.m. scheduled arrival, so we have a delay of just over an hour for this aircraft. And this exact aircraft was wearing the old livery, but obviously since I don't have one of those, I'm just using my new livery here just because, and I suspect that more of them will get repainted over time. The represented aircraft here, though, is in the Eva Blue livery, this United 737-900, so we have another one of those upgrades. United has been very, very inconsistent with sending one select aircraft type from Denver on mainline. It's always been between the 737-800, 737-900, the A319, and A320. They always swap between those four types. There's never any sort of consistency with aircraft types. I'm guessing it just depends on how many passengers have booked that particular segment on a certain day, so they'll send larger aircraft if there's more people booked on it, and then the smaller aircraft like the 319 if there's less people booked on it. So that's at least my thinking as to why it's always inconsistent. They try to optimize it as best as possible to try and lessen the chance of there being more open seats on a flight. But anyways, this United 739 came in from Denver as flight 336. This arrived in at 3:52 p.m. and have a scheduled 4:04 p.m. arrival. So we've been having a couple days where we've had 2 daily Denver mainline services, which is great. The other one has been also very inconsistent on the aircraft types. Predominantly, I have seen it on the Airbuses, though, the 319 specifically, but it has come in on the 737 MAX once as well, which is nice. So glad to see that type has returned to FSD. And here is that very special visitor that I was talking about. For the first time in over 2 years, the Delta 717 has returned to Sioux Falls. This aircraft arrived in on a service from Atlanta as flight 2615 at 11:42 p.m. had to be scheduled 11:56 p.m. arrival. Now, I do want to mention that Atlanta has had another change to their service. They will add an extra Saturday frequency for a couple weekends in January. So starting January 13th, they will add a CRJ 900 to their service, which will bring back Delta Connection on that service for the first time in a very long time. And I also checked ahead again into February, and yes, the 737-800 is still scheduled in February and then into a little bit of March as well. So awesome that we do have that type coming into FSD again as well, and also Delta Connection returning on the Atlanta service. And that is everything we have here at the terminal. Yes, you do see an Allegiant plane parked there. I skipped over it, but I'll get into that here in just a minute after we do the parking garage update. So construction is still going along very well even during the dead of winter. It should be the dead of winter, and I say should because there has been no snow on the ground. Literally, we have not had a major snowstorm up to this point, and I am amazed that the weather has been as good as it is. And as a matter of fact, I can check the weather for the next 10 days as I'm recording this video. I'm actually recording this before Christmas. So as of right now, it is in the mid-40s, and it's going to stay around there, get almost close to 50 degrees a couple days before Christmas, which is just ridiculous. I don't understand why the weather has been this good this winter, but the good news is that it has allowed construction to continue at the airport for the parking garage. So a couple updates that I was able to gather for a visit that I made recently. The steel structure for the Skyway entrance on the terminal side has been mostly installed. It has a nice little arc around it. I'll go ahead and pop up a picture of a rendering of what that's supposed to look like when it's completed. So they have that steel structure basically done at this point. Still a couple more things they have yet to install, but otherwise it's basically taking shape. And then if we take a look on the other side of the terminal road towards the parking garage, the Skyway entrance on the parking garage side has also been installed. You'll see that little exterior structure installed there on the parking deck. So awesome to see that. And then also on the north side of the garage, more of that preset concrete has been installed. And here's the video clip of me showing that, which looks really solid. And they also have the waves installed, the pattern that they're going to install alongside that preset concrete. That looks to have also been installed as well, which is awesome. And that will go across the entire parking garage when that is complete. So that is basically our entire parking garage update for this month and the last one for the year. Very happy with how that's been turning out, and I can't wait to see the finished design when that is all said and done by next summer or so. I think they're aiming still for around an August to September opening. It's been pushed up because they've been moving so far along with construction, and I wouldn't be surprised if the opening date gets pushed up a little bit further, maybe even into July, so we'll see how that goes if this winter stays good. So fingers crossed it stays that way, because I'm actually kind of happy that it's been this mild and warm during this time of the year, when we should normally have about 2 feet of snow on the ground and have at least had a couple of blizzards. So now we'll check out a few extra aircraft roaming around the airport, and then we'll check out all of our charters that we have on the ground for this airport update. Taxiing out for departure, we have the Delta Connection CRJ 900. This is going to be heading out to Minneapolis as Flight 5110, operated by Endeavor Air, at 1:30 p.m. delayed from a 1:25 p.m. scheduled arrival, so a 5-minute delay for this aircraft. Now coming in from Minneapolis, we have the Delta Connection Embraer 175 with the enhanced winglets. This ride in is Flight 3800, operated by SkyWest, at 10:04 a.m. ahead of a scheduled 10:40 a.m. arrival, so this aircraft is arriving 36 minutes ahead of schedule. And our last regularly scheduled passenger flight for this airport update, taxiing in behind the Delta 175, we have this American Eagle 175. This came in from Phoenix Sky Harbor as Flight 3066, operated by SkyWest, at 1:50 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 2:04 p.m. arrival. And as I said before, that this is the typical aircraft that American Eagle will send in on the Phoenix service whenever mainline wasn't operating previously. So for charters in this Sioux Falls Regional Airport update, we have a total of 5 to take a look at. 3 of them are going to be charters for the South Dakota State University Jackrabbits football team. These are going to be the opponent's charters because the Jackrabbits were designated as the number 1 seed in the NCAA FCS playoffs. What that means is that the Jackrabbits had home field advantage for the entirety of the playoffs up until the national championship game, which is set to be played on January 7th. And spoiler alert, the Jackrabbits are in the national championship game, so that's why we have 3 football charters on this airport update to take a look at. So 1 charter for each round of the playoffs that the Jackrabbits played in. We have the second round, the quarterfinals, and the semifinals. They got a first round bye, so that's why they're not going to be mentioned in that particular round. Our first charter that we'll take a look at here is this Allegiant Airbus A320 parked at gate number 3. This aircraft arrived in from Columbus, Georgia as Flight 4801 at 1:05 p.m. delayed from a 12:39 p.m. scheduled arrival, so a 26-minute delay for this aircraft. So this charter was for the Mercer Bears football team. This came in on Friday, December 1st, and for the Jackrabbits to open up their playoff effort, this was quite the run that they had. They pitched a 41-0 shutout to advance to the quarterfinals. So absolutely insane effort that the Jackrabbits posted in that game. The second football charter to come in was this Avelo 737-800. This is my first time having a Velo in this airport update, and only the second time that I've ever caught a Velo. This aircraft arrived in from Philadelphia as Flight 8425, right on time at 1:57 p.m. So this charter came in on Friday, December 8th, so exactly a week after the previous charter that we took a look at. And the Jackrabbits won in a much closer game this time. 23-12 was the final score on Saturday, December 9th. It was very windy, very cold during that game, so it was much closer, and the Jackrabbits didn't put up as much of a good effort. But a W is a W, so that's what matters in this case. Now, the crazy thing is, we didn't have just one Avelo charter. We had two Avelo charters. This is crazy. I love the fact that we had Avelo coming in twice in this case, so let's go ahead and take a look at the second Avelo charter. And in this case, this aircraft came in from Albany, New York as Flight 8580, arriving in at 2:52 p.m., a bit behind a 2:51 p.m. scheduled arrival, so only behind by 1 minute, but still a very solid effort from Avelo nonetheless. So this charter was for the UAlbany Great Danes, coming in on Thursday, December 14th, of which I was also able to go up to the airport and catch. And the Jackrabbits won in an unbelievable 59-0 shutout, so their second shutout in the playoffs and their third overall this season, as they did one against Youngstown State earlier in the regular season. And what's funny about this particular Velo charter is that this was supposed to be on Sun Country, because I remember checking the UAlbany Great Danes football page on Instagram, and I saw that they had used a Sun Country plane for their previous game that they played in the quarterfinal round. So I was thinking, oh cool, we'll get Sun Country this time around. Not the most exciting thing in the world, but a charter's a charter, and I'm very happy to catch those nonetheless. So I was quite surprised when they instead decided to use a Velo to get to Sioux Falls, so that's why we have two of them here in this update. So with the Jackrabbits winning the semifinal game, they are going to head off to Frisco, Texas for the second consecutive year and to successfully defend their national title, and they will be playing against the second seed Montana in that game. It will not be a rematch against North Dakota State, who did make it to that semifinal game against Montana, but lost in overtime. That was a thriller of a game, mind you, so that's going to be a very fun game to look forward to, and as much as I'd love to go to that, I don't think I'm going to be able to. It's going to be right at the tail end of my winter break before I go back to college, so I'll just have to watch the game on TV. And that's all of our football charters. We got ourselves another one to take a look at, and then we'll have yet another in the next segment. Our next charter that we have here is this Breeze Embraer 190. I'm substituting my 195 from Gemini Jets, as they have not yet made the Breeze 190. I'm not sure why. They do have the mold, but hopefully they do that at some point in the future. But anyways, this Breeze Embraer 190 came in from Los Angeles as Flight 6472 at 6:36 p.m., delayed from a 6:05 p.m. scheduled arrival, so a 31-minute delay for this aircraft. Not exactly sure why this aircraft was here. From what I could find, this is not related to SDSU football, nor was this related to any sort of athletics from South Dakota State. I tried looking everywhere at all other universities in the Sioux Falls area, didn't find anything. This aircraft would go on to Youngstown, Ohio eventually, and I did check their athletics as well, and I couldn't find anything. So whatever this charter was for, I'm not exactly sure. But for reference, this charter came in on Sunday, December 4th, so just a few days after the Allegiant 320 that we took a look at earlier for the Mercer Bears as one of the football charters. Now, we're supposed to have 5 charters, but as I look on the diorama, I only have 4. What happened to that 5th charter? Oh, there it is. How convenient. Would you look at that? A beautiful World Atlantic MD-80 has just landed in from Syracuse, New York. So this aircraft arrived in as flight number 300 at 9:57 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 10:11 p.m. arrival on Friday, December 15th. And just like with the Breeze aircraft, I couldn't find anything in particular, though I was told it might be for the Syracuse Orange Athletics. I did check over there too, but I couldn't find anything that connected with any sort of South Dakota universities or colleges for their athletics, so whatever this charter was here for, I don't know exactly on that either. But either way, very nice to have a World Atlantic MD-80 joining the party as well. Nice to go alongside that beautiful Breeze and then the Avelo, which is hanging out over here. Very, very nice. And that will do it. The final Sioux Falls Airport update for 2023 and the final airport update overall for 2023. Been a fantastic year of airport updates, a lot of developments that have occurred throughout the year, tons of exciting things here in Sioux Falls and also with Des Moines, and Random Model Airport's also growing. Retro FSD's been doing fantastic. Our brand new series in Rapid City also coming up as well. We'll have a new airport update at the end of January, so look forward to that next month. And lots of exciting things going on, so can't wait to see what Sioux Falls has in store for 2024. I would talk about their year-end passenger count, but unfortunately, as I record this video, their November numbers are still not out, and then obviously from when I record this, the December numbers are still not yet out. So hopefully that comes out sooner than later, and whenever that comes out, hopefully it's before the January update for next year. I'll talk about the 2023 numbers, but based on what I've heard, it looks like it's on track to break the 2022 numbers that we had about 1.2, 1.3 million last year. Massive Sioux Falls Airport update finally comes to an end. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a happy new year, everyone.